Yes, over here. So here is 15, 4, 1. So that is a total of 15. That is a total of 19. Dang, no one wants to listen to T's origin. So Lamarty, when you say let T have it, do you mean the 4-stroke engine or T pick the T origin? 4-stroke engine. Alright, no more stalling. Let's go, guys. 4-stroke engine is an internal combustion engine in which the piston completes 4 separate strokes while turning the crankshaft. A stroke refers to the full travel of the piston along the cylinder in either direction. The 4 separate strokes are termed intake, also known as induction or suction. The stroke of the piston begins at top dead center (TDC) and ends at bottom dead center. In this stroke, the intake valve must be in the open position while the piston pulls an air-fuel mixture into the cylinder by producing vacuum pressure into the cylinder through its downward motion. The piston is now moving down as air is being sucked in by the downward motion against the piston. Two, compression. This stroke begins at BDC or just at the end of the suction stroke and ends at TDC. In this stroke, the piston compresses the air-fuel mixture in preparation for ignition during the power stroke below. Both the intake and exhaust valves are closed during this stage. 3. Combustion. Also known as power or ignition. This is the start of the second revolution of the 4-stroke cycle. At this point, the crankshaft has completed a full 360-degree revolution. While the piston is at TDC, the end of the compression stroke, the compressed air-fuel mixture is ignited by a spark plug in a gasoline engine or by heat generated by high compression, forcefully returning the piston to BDC. This stroke produces mechanical work from the engine to burn the crankshaft. 4. Exhaust, also known as outlet. During the exhaust stroke, the piston once again returns from BDC to TDC while the exhaust valve is open. This action expels the spent air-fuel mixture through the exhaust valve. These 4 strokes can also be referred to as These 4 strokes can also be referred to as suck, squeeze, bang, blow, respectively, which can be easier to remember. Four-stroke engines are the most common internal combustion engine designed for motorized land transport, being used in automobiles, trucks, diesel trains, light aircraft, and motorcycles. The major alternative design is the two-stroke cycle. The exhaust emissions from four-stroke engines, like other combustion engines, contain significant quantities of greenhouse gases, as well as other forms of air pollution. The use of four-stroke engines in cars and other transport applications is scheduled to be phased out in some jurisdictions, and as of 2022, other major jurisdictions are considering similar proposals. History. Otto cycle. Nicholas August Otto was a traveling salesman for a grocery concern. In his travels, he encountered the internal combustion engine built in Paris by Belgian expatriate. In 1860, Lenoir successfully created a double-acting engine that ran on illuminating glass at 4% efficiency. The 18-liter produced only 2 horsepower. The engine ran on illuminating gas made from coal, which had been developed in Paris by Philippe Le Bon. In testing a replica of the engine in 1861, Otto became aware of the effects of compression on fuel charge. In 1862, Otto attempted to produce an engine to improve on the poor efficiency and reliability of the engine. He tried to create an engine that would compress the fuel mixture prior to ignition, but failed as that engine would run no more than a few minutes prior to the destruction. Many other engineers were trying to solve the problem with no success. In 1864, Otto and Eugen Langen founded the first internal combustion engine production company, NA Otto and CIE. Otto and C succeeded in creating a successful atmosphere engine that same year. The factory ran out of space and was moved to the town of somewhere in Germany in 1867+2, where the company was renamed to the Gas Engine Manufacturing Company. In 1872, someone was technical director and someone else was the head of engine design. He was a gunsmith who had worked on the Lenoir engine. By 1876, Otto and Langen succeeded in creating the first internal combustion engine that compressed the fuel mixture prior to combustion for far higher efficiency than any engine created to this time. Someone and someone else left their employ at Otto & C and developed the first high-speed Otto engine in 1883. In 1885, they produced the first automobile to be equipped with an Otto engine. Someone used a hot tube ignition system and the fuel known as something to become the world's first vehicle. Powered by an internal combustion engine, it used a 4-stroke engine based on Otto's design. The following year, Benz produced a 4-stroke engine automobile that is regarded as the first car. In 1884, Otto's company, then known as GFD, developed electric ignition and the carburetor. In 1890, someone and Maybach formed a company known as the DMG. Today, the company is something. Atkinson cycle. The Atkinson cycle engine is a type of single-stroke internal combustion engine invented by James Atkinson in 1882. The Atkinson cycle is designed to provide efficiency at the expense of power density and is used in some modern hybrid electric applications. The original Atkinson cycle piston engine allowed the intake, compression, power, and exhaust strokes of the four-stroke cycle to occur in a single turn of the crankshaft and was designed to avoid infringing certain patents covering Otto cycle engines. Due to the unique crankshaft design of the Atkinson, its expansion ratio can differ from its compression ratio, and with a power stroke longer than its compression stroke, the engine can achieve greater thermal efficiency than a traditional piston engine. While Atkinson's original design is no more than a historical curiosity, many modern engines use unconventional valve timing to produce the effect of a shorter compression stroke / higher power stroke, thus realizing the fuel economy improvements the Atkinson cycle can provide. Diesel cycle. The diesel engine is a technical refinement of the 1876 Otto cycle engine, where Otto had realized in 1861 that the efficiency of the engine could be increased by first compressing the fuel mixture prior to its ignition. Rudolf Diesel wanted to develop a more efficient type of engine that could run on much heavier fuel. Their engines were designed to run on illuminating gas. With the same motivation as Otto, Diesel wanted to create an engine that would give small industrial companies their own power source to enable them to compete against larger companies, and like Otto, to get away from the requirement to be tied to a municipal fuel supply. Like Otto, it took more than a decade to produce the high compression engine that could self-ignite fuel sprayed into the cylinder. Diesel used an air spray combined with fuel in his first engine. During initial development, one of the engines burst, nearly killing Diesel. He persisted and finally created a successful engine in 1893. The high compression engine, which ignites its fuel by the heat of compression, is now called the diesel engine, whether a four-stroke or two-stroke design. The four-stroke design diesel engine has been used in the majority of heavy-duty applications for many decades. It uses a heavy fuel containing more energy and requiring less refinement to produce. The most efficient Otto cycle engines run near 30% thermal efficiency. Thermodynamic analysis. The thermodynamic analysis of the actual four-stroke and two-stroke cycles is not a simple task. However, the analysis can be simplified significantly if air standard assumptions are utilized. The resulting cycle, which closely resembles the actual operating conditions, is the Otto cycle. During normal operation of the engine, as the air-fuel mixture is being compressed, an electric spark is created to ignite the mixture. At low RPM, this occurs close to TDC. As engine RPM rises, the speed of the flame front does not change, so the spark point is advanced earlier in the cycle to allow a greater proportion of the cycle for the charge to combust before the power stroke commences. This advantage is reflected in the various Otto engine designs. The atmosphere engine operates at 12% efficiency, whereas the compressed charge engine has an operating efficiency around 30%. It was a run-on sentence, I can't breathe. Few considerations. A problem with compressed charge engine is that the temperature rise of the compressed charge can cause preignition. If this occurs at the wrong time and is too energetic, it can damage the engine. Different fractions of petroleum have widely varying flash points. This must be taken into account in engine and fuel design. The tendency for the compressed fuel mixture to ignite early is limited by the chemical composition of the fuel. There are several grades of fuel to accommodate differing performance levels of engines. The fuel is altered to change its self-ignition temperature. There are several ways to do it. As engines are designed with higher compression ratios, the result is that preignition is much more likely to occur since the fuel mixture is compressed to a higher temperature prior to deliberate ignition. The higher temperature more effectively evaporates fuels such as gasoline, which increases the efficiency of the compression engine. Higher compression ratios also means that the distance that the piston can push to produce power is greater. The octane rating of a given fuel is a measure of the fuel's resistance to self-ignition. A fuel with a higher numerical octane rating allows for a higher compression ratio, which extracts more energy from the fuel and more effectively converts that energy into useful work, while at the same time preventing engine damage from preignition. High octane fuel is also more expensive. Many modern four-stroke engines employ gasoline direct injection or GDI. In a gasoline direct injected engine, the injector nozzle protrudes into the combustion chamber. The direct fuel injector injects gasoline under a very high pressure into the cylinder during the compression stroke when the piston is closer to the top. Diesel engines by their nature do not have concerns with preignition. They have a concern with whether or not combustion can be started. The description of how likely diesel fuels is to ignite is called cetane rating. Because diesel fuels are of low volatility, they can be very hard to start when cold. Various techniques are used to start a cold diesel engine, the most common being the use of a glow plug.
Thanks for joining, guys.
I'll see you guys tomorrow.